super honored to have Johannes Motschmann, hopefully I pronounced that right, who's a professional runner from Germany. Incredible PBs. You can correct me, but I think 2:10 in the marathon, 61 minutes in the half marathon. One of the top times of all time for Germans. Top 10 finisher in London. I mean, your times are just staggering, man. Your splits, it's insane. So super honored to have you. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you for letting me be on here. It's an honor. Thank you.
Yeah, man. And Johannes also goes by Mojo, so maybe we'll call Johannes Mojo today on the pod.
Yes.
All right, let's jump right in. So Johannes, tell me your top 3 most memorable running moments.
Most memorable running moments, I would say number 1 would be running in the Olympic Stadium in Berlin. I don't know, for maybe any history freaks out there or anyone who's interested in history, the Olympic Stadium in Berlin carries a lot of history. I mean, it was built for the Olympics 1936 in Berlin, which were, I mean, of course, I mean, people know the history of Germany, 1936. It was like Hitler's Olympics, and he kind of used those Olympics as propaganda. But then Jesse Owens won the 100 meters, which was awesome. So yeah, there's a lot of history there. And also my favorite football club, Hertha Berlin, they play in that stadium. And I got to race the European Championships in 2018 in that stadium in the 3,000 meter steeplechase. Before I went to the marathon on the roads, I was a runner on the track. So yeah, there was an honor to wear the Germany singlet and to run on that historic track in a big stadium with tens of thousands of spectators. That was very cool. Another running moment I would mention here is the London Marathon that you mentioned in the intro. I got to finish top 10 in a major marathon, and I really enjoyed the atmosphere in London. Phenomenal course, and just, yeah, the atmosphere was just electric. It was amazing. It was really almost like moving. It was very, very special to be part of that race. And the number 3 for me is probably just any Berlin Marathon, because the Berlin Marathon is my home race and I do it nearly every year. I try to do it every year. And it's, me being from there, it's my favorite race. Even though I think the atmosphere is probably not quite as good as in London or Boston, or from what I've heard, New York. But yeah, to me personally, it's a very special race. So any Berlin Marathon is special. And I mean, so many world records have been broken there. Yeah, I can only recommend the Berlin Marathon.
Totally. Those are both on my list for someday. For sure. London and Berlin.
Awesome.
What about your top 3 running shoes?
Top 3 running shoes. Also pretty straightforward. I would say me as an Adidas athlete, but I mean, I really enjoy the racing shoes from Adidas, the carbon plated shoes, especially. I would probably put number 1 the Pro Evo 2. And I mean, we just saw the Pro Evo 3 at the London Marathon earlier this year. I haven't gotten to wear it yet, but the first sub-2 marathons, the first 2 sub-2 marathons were run in the Pro Evo 3. But yeah, I would pick the Pro Evo 2 because that's what I ran in my marathons last year. And then also the Adios Pro 4, which is also a racing shoe, and I use it for races, but also for training. I usually use this one for like my hard sessions in training, and then the Pro Evo for racing. And cool. I also really like the Evo SL, the Adidas Adizero Evo SL. I think it's the best looking, most stylish trainer out there. And it's kind of like a very versatile shoe that you can use for nearly anything. And yeah, I think it looks really nice. So I'll pick those 3.
Beautiful. You heard it from Johannes, Adidas. He's an Adidas guy. Cool.
Yep.
What about your top 3 running moments that didn't go as planned? I know most runners have these.
Yes, number one is probably my one and only Boston Marathon so far. I ran it last year in 2025. And well, me as a European, I'm probably pretty spoiled by these really fast pancake flat courses in Europe, whether it's Valencia or Berlin. I mean, London isn't quite as flat, but compared to Boston, it's still pretty flat. So I wasn't quite used to the hills, especially the downhills, and I should have definitely prepared more for the downhills. But I also was I was kind of in training. My training has been kind of going downhill the 4 weeks before, but I thought I could still knock out a pretty good marathon, and I still went out at my goal pace. But then that was the toughest marathon ever because I already felt it at like 10 miles. I already felt at 10 miles what I usually feel like at maybe mile 22. So it was a really, really long way with a lot of cramping and, but it's point to point and it's a major. So I wanted to finish it. I walked up, Heartbreak Hill. There was a lot of walking in there, which I've never done before in a marathon. But I mean, I knew it's point to point, so I have to get back to Boston anyway. So I finished somewhere in the 220s, which I mean, for me, you always have to. I know for some people that's very good. For some people that's they want to run faster. Yeah, but I was still proud. I finished, and I still try to enjoy the experience because I still knew it's a privilege to be in Boston, to be in the elite field of Boston, to be running this historic race. But yeah, it didn't go as planned, and but yeah, I was still proud to make to the finish line. The other one would maybe be a race in high school if I can pick that one. We ran the 2K steeple, like I just mentioned the 3K steeple, what I did in college and before I did the marathon, but in high school, in the under 20s, which would be, I guess, junior, senior year of high school in America. In high school in Germany, I ran the German national champs and I ran the 2K steeple and I was a favorite going into the race and I was leading the whole race and I just fell into the water on the last water barrier in that race after leading the whole race and I was very disappointed that I just finished, I think, 6th place after that. But I mean, that's a steeple and I think I don't know. It's funny sometimes to watch those steeple fail videos. I mean, so many. I mean, every steeple has probably fallen over one of those barriers before, and then
of course,
most often into the water jump. So yeah, looking back, it probably looked pretty funny, but yeah, at the time I was very disappointed. But yeah, and then number 3 would maybe be my first NCAA cross race. So I just came to America in 2014. I joined the track team of Iona College. And obviously it was a lot of change for me coming from Germany. My English wasn't necessarily the greatest and was a lot of new impressions and new experiences, but I was very determined to, of course, run as fast as possible and to kind of give back to the college for the opportunities they've given me. And what I really like in America in college racing is the team aspect, that you're racing for the team. And so I was very hyped to be selected for the top 7 of our team to be running the NCAA cross country championships. And I was very excited and very eager, and I think I went out way too hard. And then I finished, I think, 192nd, which was very close to the last place. But that was my first NCAA cross country championship, and I think it's very common to have that experience for most runners coming out of high school. And looking back, I was still proud to make that team, and I'm still feel very privileged that I got to experience college racing and running in America, and just an athletic scholarship at Iona. I thought that was life-changing, and yeah, I have a lot of great memories from it. But that's one of the memories.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of lessons learned there in college running, and I hope you come
Definitely.
back to Boston and give it another try, man. Will you?
I will. I
Okay.
must, for sure, for sure. I need redemption after a lot
Exactly,
of downhill training.
exactly. What about your top 3 pieces of essential running gear?
Do we include shoes for that, or
Not including shoes.
not including shoes? Well, I mean, in today's time, probably the GPS watch. I'm a big Strava fan. It's my favorite social media because you don't necessarily have this like algorithm that sucks you in. It's a bit more about the people you really want to follow. So I really like Strava. I'm also a bit of a nerd when it comes to maps and stats and all that stuff. So the GPS watch, because that, yeah, gives you the opportunity to use Strava. Then I also really like this Chorus heart rate armband.
Oh, yeah.
Because it tracks your heart rate, and I'm not a fan um, of the
The
belt around
chest.
your chest. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because that's kind of uncomfortable, and you don't really feel it on your arm. So I think that's really nice. And again, for the data, for the stats, I really like to look at that and to kind of keep your training in check too, especially if you can't always measure lactate or anything if you're training solo. So you can check your heart rate, and I think that's very beneficial. And my last piece of running gear would probably be very simple, but just a hat in the summer, because it's something. Obviously the effects of the sun, of the UV. I always underestimated it when I was younger, and now you hear it so often. So I always in the summer I always wear a hat now to protect my skin, and yeah, that's something I never used until I was like, I don't know, probably after college. I only started wearing hats. Probably should have done it sooner, but I would probably pick that. Yeah.
What about your top 3 running pet peeves? Maybe with training or other runners, running culture, anything.
Um, that's a good question. Pet peeves. I mean, probably some of those most common ones that anyone don't like. Let's say you agree on a certain training session, and then your training partner is either never sharing the lead with you in a session, even though he agreed on it. If you said you're working together, same in racing. If someone is just sitting behind you the whole time and never sharing any of the work, I think yeah, the honorable thing to do is that you're working together. Of course, whatever in the last kilometers of a marathon, it's about racing. But let's say you are at mile 10 in a marathon. I think you should work together. You get the most out of it together. So yeah, someone who doesn't share the work, I would say, and
Got you.
just sits behind you. That's one thing. Um, I guess maybe another thing is a lot of the performative stuff on social media these days. Um, I don't want to say anything too wrong, but yes, just I mean, I think you kind of know what I mean on social media when there's a lot of pretending sometimes going on, maybe, and I think the nice thing about the sport is that you can put in the work and then usually get good results. Of course, sometimes it's frustrating. You get injured or you maybe have a bad day, but long term, you will get the results you deserve after putting in the work. And sometimes I see on social media these like challenges or where people say, oh, it shouldn't be about competition. Of course, it should be about fun and feeling good and making friends and all the social aspects. But there's nothing wrong with going for it and wanting to get in good results. So I think maybe that. And then another pet peeve. Oh man, that's a tough question. I don't know. I don't have many.
It's cool. We can leave it
Um,
at 2.
yeah.
What about your top 3
Yeah.
favorite races that you've done? I mean, you kind of mentioned,
Yes.
the one in the Olympic Stadium. Would those be your top in London? Or those, like, in general, regardless of your performance, are those your top do you have any other top favorite races that you've done that you love or that you recommend?
I would say, let's say major marathons as one, because I mean, they're all amazing. And I would recommend all of them. Major marathons are amazing. And then, one thing I feel like that doesn't get enough attention is also, yeah, what I said, cross country running, whether it's, NCAA cross country championships, college racing, and or the European or World Cross Country Championships. I think those are amazing, and that's true grit and true competition, and it's very tough running, and I really like that, and I really like to watch it, participate in it, and I think it deserves more attention. And another one would maybe be the Berlin half marathon again, because it's at home, and I really like the half marathon distance. It's probably my favorite distance, and that's a great race too. Fast race, good atmosphere. So yeah, that would
Is
probably
that one
be my
at
third
the
one.
same time as the full, or is it like a different time of year? The
No, that's
Berlin.
in the spring. That's in the spring, the
Gotcha.
Berlin half. So you can do the Berlin half in the spring, and then yeah, the full marathon in the fall, which is nice.
Nice. What about your top three just favorite places to run?
Number one is probably St. Moritz, Switzerland, where I'm right now at altitude. And it's the most beautiful place with mountains and lakes and valleys and trees and cows standing next to you on the on the run. So it's a really, really beautiful place. And again, feel very privileged to be um, running here and training here. And number two would probably be Central Park in New York City, which I really like. I have a lot of good memories of training with my friend and coach Brendan Martin there. Did a lot of marathon sessions there, but also easy runs on the bridle path. And I really like the energy of the park, especially in the evening when there's so many people training. I would even compare it, or even say it's better than I've been to E10, Kenya, where most of the famous East African long distance runners come from, and a lot of people go there for training. And there's also hundreds of runners, whether it's Kenyans or they call them Muzungus, which is Westerners who go there for training, which also creates an amazing energy, and you just want to be part of it, and you feel motivated to train. And I feel the same thing in Central Park, which is amazing. And number three would be probably Flagstaff, Arizona. Again, beautiful trails,
Yeah.
beautiful running, mountains. Yeah, hard to beat.
Seems like a lot of the pros are training in Flagstaff.
Yes, yeah.
Just because of the altitude and the weather, is that the main thing that brings everybody there?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Because I think, well, I guess in Kenya you could train year round. In St. Moritz, it's a ski resort in the winter. Yeah, you
sure.
can't run here; it's too much snow. In Flagstaff, it does snow every now and then, and it can snow heavily, but also melts very quickly because it's in Arizona, close to Phoenix, and has a lot of sunshine too, and an abundance of trails.
Cool. So when you were in New York, did you do a lot of your training in Central Park? Like a lot of your running?
Yes, I was right on the after college. Well, during college, I was at Iona, which is just north of New York City. And then after college, I was for 2 years on the Upper West Side.
Okay.
Basically, in the same, close to the finish line of the New York City Marathon. And I
Mhm.
basically ran in Central Park every single day.
Nice.
West Side Highway too on the bike path, but the
Mhm.
cyclists, they don't like it. But I because it's flat, Sometimes you want the flat running. But yeah, no, Central Park is my favorite.
Nice. And so this last one, maybe would apply how your Mojo is a plant-based vegan athlete here
Mhm.
representing. So your top three recovery tools or foods.
Um, Food's probably just my vegan chocolate protein shake that I always have after hard sessions or after lifting. Just it's delicious, plant based. And sometimes I struggle a bit to get in a proper meal right after a hard session. So I try to have like a little protein bar, a little vegan protein bar, protein shake, some easy carbs, which is really essential, I think, for recovery. Another tool, if you could call it like that, would be a hot bath. I
Love the
guess
hot
if you
bath.
could, bath, yes, the bathtub, which on the one hand helps with recovery, but also is a great tool for heat training if you're preparing for a hot race. Could be a marathon or 10K or whatever. We, for example, always run this 10K in Berlin in July, which is pretty warm. So yeah, I use the bathtub for heat training. I go in for half an hour into a really hot bath right after running, and yeah, I'm really sweating, and it really helps with that. And
Wow, cool.
my last tool would be to invest in a really good sleep setup. So, for example, obviously have a good mattress, have a good temperature in your bedroom. But I think probably my tool would be the eye mask, a sleeping eye mask. That has really helped me to probably get 30 minutes of more sleep on average, which is the best legal performance enhancer, I think, to get in as much sleep as possible. So I would probably pick the sleep mask. Yeah, recovery protein shake, plant-based protein shake, hot bath, sleeping mask.
The eye mask, love it. All right, one thing I want to mention is that not only is Johannes an incredible runner, you're also a coach. And I'm super fortunate to be coached by Johannes right now. So that's an amazing thing. And I know Johannes is coaching a lot of amazing people. So one last question is just, can you leave us with one last thought for runners in general? Something you'd like to maybe share from your journey, like one last thought.
Well, one thing I like to say is to not overcomplicate running. I feel like these days there's so many, what you mentioned, recovery tools and other little tiny things or supplements. And I think some people forget the basics, and they make the basics make 99% of your running, of your performance and how you're feeling and how you're improving, which is your training, sleeping, and eating. Those three things are by far the most important things before any kind of special new recovery tool or anything like that. And so I think you should always focus on those three first. And then, of course, if there are other things that help you for that last percent, that's great. But those three should always be the priority. And what I also just mentioned, that sleep is incredibly important, and to stay flexible in your training. I know many people have lots of obligations in their general life, whether it's work related or family related. And I have a lot of respect for all the ambitious runners who run major marathons, other marathons, who still have a family life, work full time, still get in the miles. But make sure you stay flexible and aren't too stubborn about getting in your training sessions, following the exact training plan that you had mapped out for this marathon. Stay flexible, listen to your body, and make sure you recover right. And yeah, what I just said, I have a lot of respect for all of those people. And I think it's a very common feature for runners that I'm too sometimes pretty stubborn, and we want to get better. And sometimes it's hard to take a step back, but you should always keep the bigger picture in mind. And I think that's very important.
Amazing. You heard it here first from the amazing Johannes Motschmann, aka Mojo. Thank you so much for taking the time, man, to be on the Runners Podium podcast.
Thank you, David. It's an honor to be on here, and I'm very fortunate to be training you too. It's very fun to coach you, and I'm very much looking forward to the next races with you.
Thank you so much, man.